Hello and welcome back to Talks at Fatherland. Today we'll be talking about the slave trade routes. This topic sheds more light on the experiences of enslaved Africans and the conditions they endured during that unfortunate period in history. I won't be the only one talking on this topic today. With me is... We're very happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I am Fiona Nana, your host. Talks at Fatherland. The transatlantic slave trade, a tragic episode in history, forcibly transported millions of Africans to America. Recent archaeological excavations at sites like Goree Island and Cape Coast Castle have unveiled the horrific conditions endured by captives, from cramped cells to poignant inscriptions. Underwater wrecks of slave ships offer a haunting glimpse into those who perished during the Middle Passage. In the Americas, relics of slave quarters, burial sites, and cultural artifacts provide insights into the daily lives of enslaved Africans. These findings bear immense historical significance, emphasizing the interconnectedness of Africa, the Americas, and Europe. They also serve as testaments to the extraordinary resilience of the enslaved individuals. These sites play a crucial role in education and remembrance, ensuring that the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade are never forgotten, contributing to a deeper understanding of this painful chapter in history. Talks at Fatherland. Now, without further ado, let's delve into today's questions. So, Mr. Larry, what were the slave trade routes in Africa?
According to the historians, we have about 4 or 5 routes that the merchants, the trade merchants, the slave merchants that were using during this unpleasant period of time in Africa.
Yes.
And according to them, let me mention the 4 routes. We have a sub-Sahara route. We have a transatlantic ocean route.
Yeah.
And then we have a Red Sea route. And then we also have India ocean route. I think that's the major 4 routes.
The Indian Ocean route, the Red Sea route, Sub-Saharan route,
and the transatlantic ocean route.
Okay.
That's the 4 major routes.
Okay. So how did the trans-Saharan slave trade route operate?
Yes, this major route was used majorly by the Europeans.
Okay.
And the North Africans, North Africans side.
Okay.
That also partake in the business of slaves, also involved in the slave trade.
That's the northern part of Africa.
Yes.
Okay.
And this route, the merchants, they will go to the core Africans in some villages, and bringing slaves, and that was a particular market, slave market in Senegal.
Yeah. They
call it Timbuktu, and this is the major market where all the slaves being gathered from core Africans. They will be transported to this major market, and then from there they will be taken then to the Arabian world, the Arab countries, and there's some core African and North Africans. This is the major routes that the Arab, North African, they make use of sub-Sahara routes to transfer the slave to their,
Interesting.
to their countries.
Okay, so what were the key destinations?
Yeah, the key destination of African slaves.
Yeah.
I've mentioned those that pass through this sub-Sahara route, and those that pass through transatlantic route. They are major the merchants. they came all the way from, North Americans.
Oh.
Country like the Caribbeans, the Brazilians,
Yeah.
Argentina, and some other part of, United States of America. And this was the route, I mean, transatlantic route that they made use of to transport African slaves to their countries.
So how did the Indian Ocean slave trade differ from the transatlantic slave trade?
Those that made use of this particular route, I mean the Indian Ocean route,
yes,
they are Asians.
Okay.
Asians and the Middle East. They too came all the way from their country, coming down to Africa.
Yeah.
And they after buying, slaves.
A lot of them.
Yes. And see, as an African, reading through this story, it's a pathetic story for me because it wasn't a pleasant story. Because according to the historians, they discover some landmarks where these slaves were being dealt with. Can you imagine? There's what we call iron branding. Just like you want to brand something, they will put very iron, and they will put iron inside the furnace, very hot. They will place it on their skin, just for them to identify that this is my own,
this is my slave.
This is my slave.
Yeah.
Like that. And the historian discover
that's like human ID card.
Yes,
like
yes. Just a tag. It's just like a tag.
Yeah.
A tag. And they discover where the slave burial ground, cemetery, where they molest, destroy these people.
Yeah.
Even they discover shipwreck. In the course of taking them to India, America, Asia,
during their transportation,
some ship, wrecked, and they discovered the
remains of the ship.
Yes, it was a pathetic, story.
So, what were the social and economic impacts of slave trade routes in Africa?
Yeah, as I've said earlier, the social impacts of slave trade business in Africa was pathetic, and it caused a lot of problems for Africans, especially those that were directly involved in this business, because many African countries were destroyed. The intellect, the human resources, they were destroyed in such a way that those that were capable of elevating Africa, bringing development to Africa, were taken to other, countries in the Western world, the Americans in Europe, and these people were taken to those countries not for good things, except those that were escaped, because some escaped. They were using these slaves for unpleasant jobs. Some will take them to sugarcane farm, some will hard work, and despite that, the tragedy about it. When they were working, they still chain them. Some they will put chain on their neck so that they won't run away. As I've said earlier, they will put red iron on their skin so that they won't have ability to run away. And but the social impact of it, is restricted to the merchants. It's made their life better because it was a lucrative business for them. And those that directly involved, they were, financially, financially okay, because that was cash flow.
Apparently, it was trade.
Yeah, it was trade.
Yeah.
And it made their life, they were rating among the high class set of people at that period of time. But a lot of people were devastated because of that, that action alone. But very small set of people or economically,
As a researcher, I'd love to know your own stance as regards this particular topic.
My stand is very, I would be straightforward, because it wasn't, as an African, I'm irritated when I'm hearing about this, reading about this, looking about the, what really happened. And I didn't mean, it's just that I will a little bit, digress.
Funny enough, I can actually feel your anger from you.
I will a little bit digress. As a Christian, just have to forgive.
Yeah.
Ordinarily,
in order to move forward
yes,
as a human being.
Ordinarily, as a normal, as natural human being.
Yes.
I would have said that we should go for revenge. But as a Christian, you just have to forgive.
You choose forgiveness. You choose the path of forgiveness.
Yes, you just have to forgive. But as an African,
yeah.
I think we should stop it. We should not, sell ourselves to them again.
Yes.
Because there are other things that we are doing today that indirectly selling ourselves to them and then taking us as slaves. But we should, stand on our feet.
When you say other things, I'd like to know, could you pinpoint one or two?
For example, there's what we call brain drain.
Yes. Okay.
Most Africans, we are not being satisfied with what is going on around us, and people go out of the African country to Europe, to America, and to other parts of the world,
yes.
and leaving their country. But I'm not blaming them, because our leaders, African leaders, they need to tighten their belts. They need to come to their I don't want to use come to their senses. So that I won't sound as if it won't sound abusive, but I think they need to tighten up their belt so that they bring development. African will remain in African country, in their land, so that they won't be. Africa are blessed. We are blessed.
Indeed, we are.
Human resources, natural resources, and some other aspect of life, but we are selling ourselves to them. That's what I mean by, trying to, bring about second fashion of African slave trade, which we need to guard against.
Thank you very much, Mr. Larry, for giving an explicit overview of this topic. And we thank you, our viewers, for staying with us to the end of this episode. Indeed, this is a topic that might touch in different ways, but it goes to say that we are proud that we've come this far. Please work with Fatherland Foundation by making donations. Find the link below or make donations at fatherlandfoundation.org. Till next time, I remain your host, Fiona Nana. Bye for now.